The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F-sake asterisk by Mark Manson challenges the conventional wisdom about positivity, success, and happiness by arguing that people should carefully choose what they care about and accept life's inevitable challenges. The book emphasizes the importance of embracing life's limitations and hardships, rejecting the idea that everyone should strive for constant positivity or grand success. Instead, Manson promotes the idea that we should prioritize meaningful values and focus on what truly matters, discarding superficial concerns that don't contribute to our well-being. Chapter 1. Don't Try. Manson begins the book by pointing out that society's obsession with success, wealth, and happiness can often lead to dissatisfaction. He uses the example of Charles Bukowski, a writer known for his pessimism, who succeeded in life only by accepting his own limitations and failures. Manson argues that trying too hard to be happy or successful often results in more anxiety and frustration. The key is to stop caring about the unimportant aspects of life and focus on what truly matters. He introduces the idea that we have limited mental and emotional energy and must decide what is worth giving a F***CK about. Chapter 2. Happiness is a Problem. Manson explains that the pursuit of happiness often leads to the opposite. He argues that happiness comes from solving problems, not from avoiding them. Problems are inevitable in life, and our success and satisfaction stem from how we deal with these challenges, not from the pursuit of a life free from problems. According to Manson, it's not about eliminating challenges, but choosing the right challenges and learning to enjoy the process of solving them. He introduces the idea that happiness is found in the struggle and the effort rather than the end result. Chapter 3. You Are Not Special. In this chapter, Manson critiques the self-esteem movement, which promotes the idea that everyone is special and deserving of praise. He argues that this mindset leads to entitlement and unrealistic expectations, causing people to feel constantly dissatisfied with their lives. By constantly striving to feel special, people set themselves up for disappointment when reality doesn't meet their inflated expectations. Manson advocates for embracing averageness and accepting the reality that most people are not exceptional. This doesn't mean giving up on goals, but rather setting realistic expectations and focusing on things that genuinely matter to you, rather than trying to be exceptional in everyone's eyes. Chapter 4. The Value of Suffering. This chapter delves into the importance of values and how they dictate what we care about in life. Manson argues that we often suffer because we hold poor values that don't contribute to our long-term well-being. For example, placing too much value on material wealth, fame, or approval from others leads to unnecessary suffering. Instead, we should choose values that align with reality and are within our control. Good values include personal responsibility, humility, and honesty, while bad values are those dependent on external validation or superficial achievements. By adopting better values, we can improve the quality of our lives and focus on things that bring real meaning. Chapter 5. You Are Always Choosing. Manson emphasizes personal responsibility in this chapter, arguing that while we can't control everything that happens to us, we always have control over how we respond. Life is full of hardships and uncontrollable events, but we must take ownership of our reactions. Instead of blaming others or external circumstances, Manson encourages readers to take responsibility for their choices. He argues that this mindset leads to empowerment because it shifts the focus from what's outside our control to what we can actively influence. He urges readers to make deliberate choices about their values and what they care about. Chapter 6. You're Wrong About Everything, But So Am I. This chapter focuses on the idea of uncertainty and the inevitability of being wrong. Manson argues that we must accept that our beliefs, thoughts, and feelings are constantly evolving, and that being wrong is part of personal growth. People often cling to their beliefs because they fear uncertainty, but Manson suggests that embracing uncertainty leads to openness and growth. By accepting that we are wrong about many things, we open ourselves to learning, changing, and improving. This humility allows us to grow intellectually and emotionally. Rather than being defensive or stubborn about our beliefs, we should remain open to being wrong. Chapter 7. Failure is the way forward. Manson emphasizes that failure is an integral part of success and personal growth. He argues that people often avoid failure at all costs, but this only limits their ability to learn and improve. Every failure is an opportunity to grow and improve, and avoiding failure means avoiding growth. Manson advises readers to embrace failure, as it's through repeated attempts and mistakes that we develop resilience and skills. He uses examples of successful people who failed numerous times before achieving success, showing that failure is not something to fear, but something to embrace and learn from. Chapter 8. The Importance of Saying No. This chapter deals with setting boundaries and learning to say no to things that don't align with our values. Manson argues that in a world full of endless choices and distractions, it's essential to prioritize what truly matters and let go of everything else. By saying no to things that don't serve us, we create space for the things that do. Manson also stresses that conflict and rejection are natural and necessary parts of life, and that avoiding these uncomfortable experiences only leads to more dissatisfaction. Learning to say no is about setting boundaries and protecting our energy for the things that matter most. Chapter 9. And Then You Die. In the final chapter, Manson reflects on the inevitability of death and how this realization can motivate us to live better lives. He argues that confronting our mortality forces us to reflect on what's truly important and encourages us to focus on meaningful values. By accepting that life is finite, we can let go of trivial concerns and focus on what gives our lives purpose. Manson encourages readers to stop worrying about what others think and to live in alignment with their own values. Ultimately, the awareness of death is a powerful motivator to make the most of the limited time we have. Conclusion. The subtle art of not giving a asterisk encourages readers to take responsibility for their lives by choosing what they care about carefully. By letting go of superficial concerns and focusing on meaningful values, we can reduce unnecessary suffering and live more fulfilling lives. Manson's message is not about apathy, but about making deliberate choices about what matters. Through embracing failure, uncertainty, and the inevitability of death, we can live with greater purpose and satisfaction. Instead of trying to be constantly happy or successful, we should focus on solving meaningful problems and accepting the realities of life.